Minecraft. Ever heard of it? It isn't often that a game gets regular annual updates over a decade into its lifespan. And not just small tweaks either, but major releases that change the way the game is shaped and played. From the 1.13 update onward, Mojang have shown a particular focus on improving and overhauling the existing features before adding brand new ones. We can see this philosophy in action if we look at the updates released since then, which improved heavily on the seas, villages, nether, and caving experience, just to name a few. But whereas some features are getting fabulous glow-ups, other features are just left to collect dust. And with every new feature release, their outdated status becomes more and more apparent. So today, I want to focus on some of Minecraft's features that need an update. My name is Silly Billy, but you can call me Billy. And if YouTube is working correctly, you should see the button below me light up in all sorts of funky ways when I say subscribe if you want to see more. Did that work? Anyways, let's do this.
Deep below the surface of the overworld, dangerous mobs loom. Their purpose?
Making your stuff despawn. You can hunt them down for resources, but if you are too lazy to do so, just admit that you're scared already. You can rely on mob spawners. These little cages are incredibly versatile and a very easy source for early game experience as well. But man, are they outdated! Look at this place, it's bland as heck in here! You have these gorgeous jaw-dropping cavern systems going on, only for them to be interrupted by
Square.
And not just that, but the structure itself is literally only just made up of cobblestone. No, scratch that. I forgot that some Mojang developer decided that they could afford to get fancy and add mossy cobblestone into the palette. How exquisite. And it's the same for everywhere you encounter these things. They feel like an afterthought, created once way back when, and then just used as the default whenever we needed a little place for one particular mob to spawn consistently. Usually just out there in the open with little to no challenge at all. And I can hear you thinking, Billy, rejoice! Haven't you heard the news? The new 1.21 update is going to tackle all the problems you just highlighted. What kind of a loser uses the word rejoice? But actually, no, it does not. Granted, the new trial chambers and matching trial spawners sound very promising. No longer is the mob spawner just a way to push out mobs into a desired location, although it definitely still is, but the reward aspect teased alongside it seems very promising. However, as of right now, there seems to be no news about this new spawner type being implemented elsewhere, nor does it seem like an architect is going around your local caves to do something about
Square.
I have to admit, I do get giddy when I find a spawner room underground, just because I love looting chests, but the thing itself is a major buzzkill to any terrain it finds itself in, and frankly, I find the block itself lazy. Instead, why not make it so that certain areas or even certain blocks have an increased spawn rate of certain mobs if generated naturally? How cool would it be if spiders actually crawled out of cobwebs instead of the random flaming block they're coming from right now? The thing is literally better suited as decoration, like come on! And if we're not getting an improved functionality for the mob spawner, at least have someone come by and give this place a makeover. Yeesh. Our next item in dire need of an update takes heavy inspiration from one of the scrap biome votes, mainly because I am still super pissed about that. Whoa, a Minecraft live vote sparking controversy? No way. Let's face it, everyone should have voted for the desert. There, I said it. It came in 3rd out of 3 on the Minecraft 2018 biome vote. My disappointment was immeasurable and my day was ruined. Coming hot off the press after Mojang's new improve before add motto, Minecraft's 2018 biome vote promised to overhaul biomes with exciting new features, structures, and mobs. This is what we ended up with. And yeah, the savannah got snubbed too, but that at least already has interesting terrain, as well as a reason to go there. The desert, however... The ironic thing here is that we couldn't even get that! If you're thinking of building a desert base, good for you, but otherwise there is literally no reason to be here. Some people would argue that this is supposed to be this way. The real-life deserts are boring too. Well, number one, no, deserts can actually be incredibly pretty, and a quick Google search is enough to get you singing to the tunes of Arabia. And two, who cares?
Who cares?
Minecraft isn't real life, and thinking that it needs to uphold the same standards as our world is just silly. Looking at you too, Minecraft devs. For this change, I'm not necessarily talking about structures. I think the desert has it quite set. They have not one but 3 of those to its name. Granted, one of those is just a village variant. Another is also pretty ugly and would deserve its own spot in this video. And the 3rd one is literally just a well, but hey, it's better than nothing, I suppose. But the terrain and general atmosphere just leave so much to be desired. And why stop at the proposed palm tree and meerkat? Why not add small oases, which add lush life, but which can only spawn in the middle of giant deserts to simulate that idea of going crazy in Minecraft? I mean, they did try that before, so why not again, right? Or here's a crazy idea. Take the concept of dynamic skies that you see in the nether biomes and apply it to the desert, so that there's like a permanent sandstorm going on in special desert biome variants, which can house secret temples, but also it's like impossible to see anything further than 2 blocks ahead of you. And to make it even crazier, you can build like some sort of sand conduit to counteract the sandstorm effect, so you can see and live in these biomes as well. The desert is definitely in need of an update, just like our next feature, the Minecart. Yeah, I think we all saw this one coming. Minecarts have been the inferior movement alternative for a long time now. It's not just that they are beaten in speed either. Boats are also slower than Elytra, but at least those offer cheap and accessible alternatives to water transportation in the early game of your worlds. Plus you can even take stuff with you on them now, making them fit for exploration as well. Minecarts don't have this luxury however. Unless you want to get into a minecart, then put a chest minecart behind you and a furnace minecart behind that and then go through life as a train. But even so, minecarts lack all of the mobility of deciding to go somewhere else on the fly, and in order to fully optimize their usefulness, you need to automate farms for like 3 different precious metals in the game. And without powered rails, you are better off just running. So I say it's time we overhaul these bad boys. Actually, you know what? You're alright. You don't need to change. The most obvious change would be to just give these things a speed boost. But what about track mergers or track splitters that could be toggled with a switch? And no, I don't mean the ugly half-baked solution we have now, I mean pretty ones. Or how about this for a game changer? A minecart you could ride, which also places rails underneath you as you go, meaning you don't first have to manually add all the rails before they are ready. Sure, it'd be expensive as heck, but imagine the possibilities. What about just going all out and doing something like this game called Choo Choo Charles, where you have this little home base in the form of a train, where you can do other things whilst being driven there automatically, embracing the AFK advantage the minecart currently has even more by basically having like a little portable base. Huh, never expected to mention this game in relation to a Minecraft video. Never expected to mention it at all, to be honest. TLDR, current minecarts are dumb and they don't need to be. Moving on. The 4th feature in desperate need of some developer attention, lest it create daddy issues, is combat. Combat just feels very still and I think it needs a change. What? You think I'm talking about this guy? What? No, get him out of here. We all know player combat has issues. I'm talking about these guys. Mobs in Minecraft are all so incredibly samey. Take a look at these 2 clips and then tell me in which one I'm being attacked by a zombie and which one is the slime. They're both spiders. For the incredible variety of mobs in this game, a lot of them boil down to one of 2 attack patterns. Number 1. They touch you, you go dead. Or number 2, they stay at a distance, shoot at you, and you go dead. This is especially true for the overworld mobs, because I think that the Nether has it pretty good in terms of mob variety. Zombified piglins hunt you in pack behavior when provoked. Blazes shoot 3 projectiles instead of 1, which somehow always hit. Wither skeletons make the whole world spoopy when they get to you. Piglins can be distracted with shiny stuff. And ghasts will forever be one of the most terrifying mobs for me. Compare this to the overworld mobs, where pretty much every mob is a variant of a zombie or tries to imitate it like they have some sort of identity crisis. And just adding a couple status effects here and there is a start, but really it's the same combat over and over again. Instead, imagine zombies actually grabbing onto you and doing multiple biting attacks until killed, whilst limiting your movement in the meantime. With drowned having the additional property that they could try to drag you to the bottom of the ocean. Slimes could do a similar thing, sticking to you until you are able to get rid of them. Maybe even sit on your head so you suffocate while you're fighting them. Elder Guardians could get an Inferno-like property where their beam doesn't just hurt you like the smaller Guardian, but deals progressively more damage the longer they lock on. Phantoms giving blindness and nausea effects. Enemites crawling onto you and not letting go until you find some water to wash them away. Truly, there are so many possibilities here, and it's quite telling that many mobs have not had an AI change since their inception. The last item on this list is an entry I think many people overlook when talking about features that need to be updated. Once you start getting some decent gear going in your survival worlds, you may want to upgrade them a little bit, using the power of magic. So what do? You build an enchantment table. Question: why does an item with such a cool name have such a boring implementation in this game? Really, what we have here is a 3-tiered RNG machine, where you plonk in some tools and a bit of lapis and pray to the blocky gods and you get a semi-decent enchantment. It is an incredibly tedious and costly process to get enchantments that you actually want when you factor in the combining of tools and such. You honestly have a better chance of flying out to one of the end islands and looting the chests you come across there. Another alternative to overcoming this hassle is to enslave a bunch of villagers and force pumpkins down their throats until they give in, and then trading for all the books you could want. But have you ever tried building a villager training hall? It takes hours of work to get a good setup going, and unless you play on a server where one member is so actively at work on a training hall that they could practically be considered a villager themselves, prepare to have a miserable time moving all of the villagers around. Why am I getting pushed? Why is he stronger than I am? No! Oh, you are going back in there real quick now! Ranting on villagers aside, there are far better alternatives to getting a decent set of gear ready, especially considering the increasing amount of places where you can get good equipment as loot. I feel like we need to give a bit more love to the enchanting table, and the fix might actually be pretty easy as well. What if instead of regular bookshelves, you can now also use chiseled bookshelves to power up your enchantment table? And here's the catch. If you fill a chiseled bookshelf with enchanted books, there is a higher chance that the equipment you enchant there will have that particular enchantment. This could go up in several levels, where the highest level being where you fill an entire bookshelf with one certain type of enchanted book, and the enchanter always gives that particular enchantment to any piece of equipment that can have it. It's a great way to boost players into using the enchanter, and gives more advantages to both beginning players and late game people. That is just one possible idea. You could also experiment with letting tools be enchanted multiple times, but letting the cost of doing so go up with each time you do it. Maybe in the form of experience even. Or by letting us sacrifice higher tier items like diamonds to ensure better enchantments. Maybe this could even allow us to level up our gear beyond the current limit, such as Unbreaking 4, Sharpness 6, All in all, I think we need to give some love to the enchantment table, as to the other 4 features we have discussed today. But what do you think? Which parts of Minecraft are very much in need of an update? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, as well as if you like this video or not. But for now, I thank you for watching. This has been Silly Billy, and remember, Desert should have won the biome vote. Adoop!